So there's been a lot of discussion recently in the Wind Waker HD community based upon a rule about what is and isn't beating the game. And this would have a big implication in the all dungeons category of Wind Waker. So I thought I would sit down and kind of go over both sides of the coin on the pros and cons of allowing this change to happen for speedrunning, and kind of open a discussion on what you viewers think about this potential rule change. So I'm going to be borrowing some footage from Son of a Glitch here to kind of demonstrate this glitch, because it's actually a pretty old known glitch. And basically how this glitch works is that you need to die on the very same frame that Ganon hits you with his sword. And then you can do the parry while you're dead, and then right after you basically hit him with the sword, you will immediately die. Now, after you then respawn, you can go up to Ganon's fight again, and he's actually still there and you can refight him. However, if you do defeat him once again, what will happen is the game will go into a basically limbo, making it impossible to see the credits, and it's just stuck in this kind of a cutscene state, making it completely impossible to see the credits, the extra cutscene, the taxes at the end, as well as getting the reward for beating the game, which is a Game Plus option. Now, a lot of people do consider that this should be allowed as counting as beating the game because you still actually hit Ganon with the sword. And they deem it unnecessary to see him actually dying during the outro cutscene, watching the credits, or anything like that. Now, there are some arguments for both sides. There is a document on kind of the arguments on both sides. So I'm going to be reading out loud, but I'm also going to have links in the description if you guys want to read about it yourself. Now, to the doc, like I said, I would have it listed in the description, but reading a few of the arguments for and against it, the first one states, the timing method for all current full game categories have timing end upon beating the game, changing it to just beating all the dungeons, which is kind of arbitrary and doesn't make sense. By doing this cutscene skip glitch, Ganondorf is still technically alive and is able to be refought in the boss room. This technically means the game is not completed. The Ganon's Tower dungeon was never actually fully done. The game is completed upon meeting the credits, something that never happens in the alternate route. Putting Ganon in the middle of the run would not allow you to beat the game, resulting in Link being unable to leave Tower of the Gods after performing this route. Most other Zelda games with all dungeons categories and the timing when the game is completed. Performing this glitch makes reaching the credits unreachable, which means a new Game Plus file, which is the reward for actually beating the game, is no longer any available. Watching the credits is required in order to get a result that the game is considering the game completed. Now, some rules for the change. The requirement for the category, except for when to end the timer, are technically met. Ganondorf and the dungeons are technically defeated. This rule change would add a variety to the category and make it faster by 5 minutes. This glitch would not ensue unless Ganondorf dies on the same frame Link does. This proves that Ganondorf dies, as the glitch would not take place otherwise. The category would be shorter. We have categories like Master Sword and Din's Pearl that doesn't require you to beat the game in the first place. The general way of completing a game is finishing off Ganon, not viewing the credits. Credits should not be counted as game completion, as there is no input other than text. You're not required to record the credits, and watching the cutscene is apparently required, but skipping them is not. Now, this is actually not the first time that there's been a controversial decision on what is completing the game. Way back in the day when rung warps was first discovered in Ocarina of Time, there is no known way to actually rung warp to the tower collapse as a child, skipping having to get the light arrows and all of the other required items. So the first any % category that was heavily used was something called Ganonless nowadays. And that was basically that you would rung warp into the credits of the game, and by so was considered beating the game by the community, and this was the rules that they used for a decent amount of time until they found the current rung warp, which is used rung warping as a child to the tower collapse. Now, obviously, this was also controversial. Thankfully, though, since they found a faster method of rung warping as a child and actually defeating Ganondorf, this did not have to be a problem for a long time. So over time, this kind of is faded away. But I think it's an interesting piece of history, and I think we can draw some parallels in between these two situations. Now, I'm interested in knowing what you guys think about this. Do you guys think that this should be allowed, or do you guys think that this should not be allowed? Personally, I am for the side of not allowing this and staying the way it currently is. You actually have to defeat Ganondorf in the end of the run, being able to at least access the ending cutscenes, such as, for example, seeing him dying right now, turning into a rock, as well as reaching the cutscenes of the pirates coming up, and then also, of course, being able to watch the credits, and then after that, getting the final cutscene where you see Link sail off where Phantom Hourglass will start, as well as getting the end text, and then having access to the functionality of beating the game, which is accessing a new game plus file, which allows you to have an orange file looking a little bit better in the menu, and of course all the other features of game plus file, such as, for example, playing through the entire game with the outset tunic and pajamas. Let me know what you guys think. Are you guys for or against it? Let's have a discussion in the comment section down below. And yeah, without further ado, I'm interested in what you guys think about this, and I will see y'all in future streams on Twitch with more Wind Waker speedruns, or in future videos here on YouTube. So thank you guys for watching, and bye-bye.